very concerned about. I'm concerned about Ukraine because of the people of Ukraine and because of the principles that are at risk in terms of international law and trying to change boundaries of international law by force. I thought we lived in a world that had said no to that kind of activity, and I hope diplomacy will win. But massive emissions consequences to the war, but equally importantly, you're going to lose people's focus. You're going to lose certainly big country attention because they will be diverted, and I think it could have a damaging impact. So, I think hopefully President Putin would realize that in the northern part of his country, they used to live on 66% of a nation that was over frozen land. Now it's thawing, and his infrastructure is at risk, and the people of Russia are at risk. And so I hope President Putin will help us to stay on track with respect to what we need to do for the climate.
Come on, guys. Climate is the most important thing. Vladimir Putin, can we get you on board for that? The weakness being projected. The attack from Russia today and last night was striking. It was startling. It wasn't messing around. It looked like a full-scale war. The combined might of Russia being deployed en masse, sharply, quickly, a real blitzkrieg. There was a decade or so after the fall of the Soviet Union when the West rightfully could chuckle at how rusty and out of date the Russian military machine was. The country was broke. Their stuff just fell apart. I'm not sure if that's true anymore. Their jets, their helicopters, their missiles, their electronic warfare, it's very serious in all regards. New missiles, cyber warfare. I think that America's military is still more modern and more large, but not vastly more so. And of course, so much comes down to will, to courage, to leadership, to charisma, to purpose. That's what happened in Afghanistan. Here's the top military man in America called the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. Take a look at him.
I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university, and it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend? And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look I do want to know. And I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets. But I want to know. And it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military.
Yeah, critical race theory, white privilege. You've got them on the run now, boss. And while you're indoctrinating them in wokeness, why not fire any soldier who doesn't want to get vaxxed, even if they already have natural immunity? Imagine what that would do to morale and to recruitment. Real question, do you think that America's military today would beat Russia in a hot war? Do you think it would? How about China's military? Last night when Russia was invading, Donald Trump made a public statement. Not from the White House, of course. He's not president anymore. He just made a public statement directly to the media. But not Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't call a press conference. He was asleep. He didn't make an announcement this morning either. He waited until mid-afternoon. Ukraine had largely fallen by then.
We've been transparent with the world. We've shared declassified evidence about Russia's plans and cyber attacks and false pretexts so that there could be no confusion or cover-up about what Putin was doing. Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences. Today, I'm authorizing additional strong sanctions and new limitations on what can be exported to Russia. This is going to impose severe cost on the Russian economy, both immediately and over time. We have purposely designed these sanctions to maximize the long-term impact on Russia and to minimize the impact on the United States and our allies.
The world's leaders were largely unified in their rejection of Putin's invasion. Of course they were. Biden was sleeping, so Boris Johnson spoke for both of them.
For our part today, the UK is announcing the largest and most severe package of economic sanctions that Russia has ever seen. With new financial measures, we're taking new powers to target Russian finance, in addition to the banks we've already sanctioned this week. Today, in concert with the United States, we are imposing a full asset freeze on VTB. More broadly, these powers will enable us totally to exclude Russian banks from the UK financial system, which is, of course, by far the largest in Europe, stopping them from accessing sterling and clearing payments through the UK. And with around half of Russia's trade currently in US dollars and sterling, I'm pleased to tell the House that the United States is taking similar measures. These powers will also enable us to ban Russian state and private companies from raising funds in the UK, banning dealing with their securities and making loans to them. We will limit the amount of money that Russian nationals will be able to deposit in their UK bank accounts, and sanctions will also be applied to Belarus for its role in the assault on Ukraine. Overall, we'll be imposing asset freezes on more than 100 new entities and individuals, on top of the hundreds that we've already announced. This includes all the major manufacturers that support Putin's war machine. Furthermore, we are also banning Aeroflot from the UK. Next, on top of these financial measures and in full concert with the United States and the EU, we will introduce new trade restrictions and stringent export controls similar to those that they in the US are implementing. We will bring forward new legislation to ban the export of all dual-use items to Russia, including a range of high-end and critical technological equipment and components in sectors including electronics, telecommunications, and aerospace. Legislation to implement this will be laid early next week. These trade sanctions will constrain Russia's military, industrial, and technological capabilities for years to come.
That sounds serious. America apparently wanted to go further and ban Russia from the international money clearing system called the SWIFT system, but Germany vetoed that. They like Russia too much. Here's Biden basically shrugging his shoulders, saying he doesn't actually think sanctions will stop Vladimir Putin from doing anything.
Number two, no one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening. This is going to take time, and we have to show resolve so he knows what's coming. And so the people of Russia know what he's brought on them.
I don't know how to beat Putin. I think showing weakness is how not to beat him, and that's pure Biden. And Trudeau, for that matter. It's a bit weird to hear Trudeau talk about authoritarian regimes after putting Canada under martial law because of some hunking. But here's what I know. Energy and money call a lot of shots. So sanctions could work on Russia unless, say, China is there to provide whatever economic access America has closed the door to Russia on. Energy is very important, which is why Trump was opposed to the Nord Stream pipeline that would sell gas from Russia to Europe. Biden approved of that pipeline that Trump had stalled. Biden also canceled the Keystone XL pipeline bringing oil down from Canada to America. Here's a tweet from Bloomberg. I thought this was interesting. In the 24 hours after Putin recognized 2 breakaway Ukrainian republics, the U.S. and its allies bought $700 million in Russian oil, gas, and commodities. Absolutely, and Canada bought some of that too. You know, Trudeau blocked Energy East, so Canada buys Russian oil for the largest refinery in Canada, which is in St. John, New Brunswick. Biden blocked Keystone XL, so America buys Russian oil too. Do you want to sanction Russian oil? Do you want to cut them off?
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.